YouTube, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Bettor's Edge, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys tuning into my videos, following my plays, fading my plays, whatever you guys are doing. I ain't mad at y'all. Like the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I have a massive, absolutely massive card for Saturday's college football slate of action. This is the biggest card that I am releasing on YouTube to date. Let's get started, guys, with the first game as far as scheduling is concerned on tomorrow's slate of action. You have the Oklahoma Sooners on the road getting 6 points in Tuscaloosa against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Guys, we've talked about both of these programs quite a bit so far this season. The last time we saw this Oklahoma team, 2 weeks ago, on the road at Tennessee in an impressive performance, getting an outright victory as slight underdogs in a hostile environment and winning that game, as I mentioned. This is a team that's had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. As we know, John Mateer, their quarterback, he's been back, he's healthy, he's playing well. This Oklahoma Sooners team, probably to the surprise of many people, as I mentioned, won that game the last time we saw them Saturday night at Tennessee. This is an Oklahoma team defensively that is pretty strong. They put in a good performance at Tennessee, a rebound performance coming off of that loss 3 weeks ago, at home against Ole Miss, where collectively that team just didn't look very good. This is an Alabama team, guys, that's laying 6 points in this spot. Last time we saw them was in a decent performance at home against LSU. They won 20-9. The week prior to that, not as impressive on the road at South Carolina, where in my opinion they easily could have lost that game to a little bit stiffer of competition had they put in a similar performance. And we're getting this Alabama team that really, in my opinion, doesn't match up all that well against Oklahoma. I'm going to try and keep these analyses and these breakdowns quite concise because I got a lot to cover. But at the end of the day, these two teams are very similar. They're teams that play good defense, that are stout up front, defensively are going to be able to stop the run. Offensively, neither team is going to be able to move the ball on the ground very well. Both teams are going to have to rely on their quarterback. Both teams are going to be able to move the ball through the air. I think, guys, 6 points is probably a little bit too much to be giving Oklahoma in this spot. Oklahoma's a far superior team to LSU. LSU didn't do enough offensively throwing the ball to cover the number last week. I think this Oklahoma team can do and have similar results that LSU defense had, slowing down the Alabama offense just enough. And I think you're going to be able to see this Oklahoma Sooners team, especially with an extra week to prepare, keep this score within the number. I'm not suggesting Oklahoma's going to win this game. I wouldn't be entirely shocked if they win outright. I'm not predicting a win. But based on how these two teams match up and what I described, as far as both teams struggling to move the ball on the ground, both teams want to be able to move it on the ground, but the opposition's D-line is just too stout. They're not going to be able to do so. Both teams are going to have to rely on throwing the ball. I just don't think, even with the home field advantage, factoring Oklahoma's extra week to prepare, I don't think there's a 6-point edge here in taking the Alabama Crimson Tide at home and their pass attack against Oklahoma's pass attack, respectively, against the opposition's defense. I think both teams are going to have similar results offensively. I think both teams obviously are going to have similar results defensively. I think this is a neck-and-neck game. I think Alabama does squeak it out. But give me the 6 points with the Oklahoma Sooners early tomorrow afternoon as my first pick for tomorrow's slate of action. I think this is also an early kickoff. Moving in to my second game, We have the Iowa Hawkeyes, as I discussed pretty lengthy in my Friday night preview for the Oregon Ducks, because they just played Oregon last weekend, obviously. We have the Iowa Hawkeyes getting 6.5 points, guys, on the road at the Coliseum against the USC Trojans. I have 2 picks and 2 plays for this game, guys. First of all, let's talk about the side. Last time we saw this Iowa Hawkeyes team, they played a superior opponent. Granted, they were at home in the Oregon Ducks. They were able to stymie Oregon's offense. Oregon's defense obviously is far superior to USC's. Iowa easily, they had the game in hand late in the game, but weren't able to get a defensive stop to win the game. Easily could have won that game outright last weekend against a superior opponent, as I mentioned, granted at home. Last time we saw this USC team, I know they won by 21, was against Northwestern at home last week. I know they covered the number of 14.5, but they were not impressive, guys. This USC team was not impressive. We know what this USC team likes to do. They like to move the ball offensively. They're not very stout defensively. This is a matchup, in my opinion, that is wonderful for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa sucks on offense, guys. They're not a great offense. We saw that last weekend against Oregon. They're going to be able to move the ball against this USC defense. They're going to be able to move it on the ground. They're going to be able to move it through the air. This line is sitting at 6.5. The USC Trojans will not win this game by 6.5 points, guys. Their defense is not good enough to stop Iowa from playing this game the way Iowa wants to play this game. Iowa is going to control this game. They're going to control the tempo of this game. They're going to be able to move the ball on the ground. They're going to be able to move the ball through the air as well. I know they don't throw it a ton, but when you can't stop them on the ground, it makes stopping their pass attack that much more difficult. We've seen this Iowa team put up points against superior defenses earlier in the season. They have a 40-point game. They got a couple of 30-point games, some upper 20-point games. USC is probably going to have to score 35 to 40 points on a stout Iowa defense to cover 6.5. Second best bet, not second best, but second bet on the card for this weekend, give me the Iowa Hawkeyes plus 6.5 points. Same game, guys. This total is sitting at 48.5. That number is too low, guys. That number is too low. Let me tell you why. USC's at home. We know what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to turn this game into a shootout. They're going to want to throw the ball. They're going to want to be able to move the ball on the ground, which they're not going to have a ton of success to do, so it's going to force them to throw the ball. USC will have success, some success, moving the ball. Iowa's not going to shut them down. This offense is too good. We saw Oregon have some success. Granted, they didn't put up a ton of points on the road against Iowa, but we saw them have some success moving the ball and getting yardage. USC will get yardage, but so will the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa, as I mentioned, is going to control the tempo of the game. They're going to control the style of the game. Give me the over 48.5 points as my third bet for this weekend. The last game that I want to talk about, guys, and I also have 2 plays in this game, very similar to the game that I just talked about. You have the Texas Longhorns on the road getting 6 points against the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's talk about both of these teams quick before I get into the actual pick. The last time we saw Texas, they're coming off of a bye, was at home against Vandy. We've seen this Texas team, Jekyll and Hyde type of performances, sometimes Jekyll and Hyde even in the same game. They dominated Vandy for 3 quarters. They got blown out in the 4th quarter. Very similar to Texas, we have Jekyll and Hyde performances from this Georgia team. Sometimes they look elite, like they can compete to win a national championship. And sometimes even in the same game, they look like they can be beaten by anybody. Again, very similar to this Texas team. This game is in Athens. It's in Georgia. Let's talk about how these two teams match up stylistically. Texas is a team that relies defensively on their front. They like to stop the run. They can be thrown on in the pass game. We saw Vanderbilt's quarterback put up nearly 400 yards in the air against them. This Georgia team is also very similar. They like to run the ball. Texas is going to be able to stop them on the ground. They're going to have success through the air with Stockton throwing the ball. Texas is also likes to run the ball. Georgia's going to shut that down defensively. But as we've seen against Ole Miss and against other competition, you can throw the ball on this Georgia team. I think the best bet for this game, guys, is Georgia on the money line. You can get Georgia on the money line at minus 235. I think laying the 6 points is probably a little bit too much. I think with the extra week to prepare, Texas is going to make this a game. We've seen this Texas offense really over the course of the last couple of games starting to figure things out offensively with Arch Manning. They're starting to throw the ball better. They're going to have success in the pass game. As I mentioned, Georgia struggles to stop the pass attack if they're shutting down the run game, which I anticipate is going to happen. The same thing is going to happen on the other side of the ball when Georgia has it. They're going to get shut down in the run game. They're going to be able to throw the ball in the pass game. I just think when you look at how these two teams match up, the game being in Athens, Georgia being a better team, Georgia being a little bit more of a complete team, I'm not sure they're going to cover the number, but I don't think Texas is going to be able to win this game outright. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs minus 230 on the money line. Second bet in this game, as I talked about previously in the USC game. Both teams in this game, as I already mentioned, are going to be able to move the ball through the air. When you're getting shut down in the run game, you're forced to throw the ball, obviously. It stops the clock. You get bigger chunk plays. You get more explosive plays. Makes it much harder for the under to come good. We're looking at a total here that sits at 49.5, guys. We've seen Georgia and Texas play multiple games this season, well into the 60s, well into the 70s, against superior defenses in the pass game. We're going to see both of these teams put up a minimum of 20, mid-20s points, whether it's 24, 25, 26, 27, a minimum in that range. I don't see a way. This number sits, as I mentioned, at 49.5. I don't see a way, realistically speaking, where this game goes under 49.5 points. I think we're looking at a game well into the 50s, potentially even into the 60s when the final score is all written up and it's all said and done. So give me the over 49.5 for my last play for this weekend, guys. Recap, putting it all together. We're taking the Oklahoma Sooners plus 6 points. We're taking the Iowa Hawkeyes plus 6.5 points. We're taking Georgia minus 230 on the money line. And we're taking Georgia, Texas over 49.5 total points. That's the entire card for my NCAA football slate of action for tomorrow, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I haven't had one losing Saturday since I've been on this show. I also haven't had one losing Sunday since I've been on this show. I will be back shortly for my NFL Sunday card slate of action and my winners. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll be back shortly.